Welcome to this stories. The moment my wife sat me down, my heart raced with an unspoken tension, a sense of impending change that felt both heavy and electric. It wasn't a feeling deep within me, but rather a haunting familiarity that tugged at my heart, reminding me of a moment I dared not revisit. Her smile was too casual, yet it held a secret. The way she tucked her hair behind her ear revealed a vulnerability, and the nervous energy that pulsed beneath her skin was electric, forbidden. It felt like a haunting echo of the past. Her heart raced as she stood on the edge of revelation, ready to unleash a truth that could change everything. I leaned back in my chair, my heart racing as I set my gaze on the empty seat across from me, waiting for a moment that felt both thrilling and wrong. "Hear me out." She took the first step. Her voice dripped with sweetness, a tempting allure that felt just out of reach. It felt like a secret dance, each moment carefully crafted yet charged with unspoken longing. "I've been lost in thoughts of you and me." There it was, a fleeting moment that felt both exhilarating and dangerous. It felt like the start of a fragile confession, teetering on the edge of something unspoken and deeply yearned for. I nodded, my heart racing beneath a calm facade. "My heart aches for you," she continued, reaching across the table to touch my hand. "I really do, and I don't want to lose what we have." That sentence alone told me everything. She wasn't planning to leave. No, she wanted something worse. "But I also feel like I need to explore things," she added, her fingers tapping anxiously against the table. Experience different connections. Meet new people." I gave her nothing. No reaction. Just a slow sip of my beer as I watched her squirm. "So what are you saying?" I finally asked. She exhaled, relieved that I was engaging instead of outright rejecting her. "I want us to open the relationship," she said softly, eyes searching my face for a flicker of agreement. "Not because I don't love you, but because I think we could grow from this. Maybe we could even be stronger in the long run." I could see she had convinced herself this was some enlightened, modern approach to marriage, that I'd nod along, say something about trusting her, and let her run off into the arms of some other man, while keeping me securely in her back pocket. But I wasn't stupid, and I sure as hell wasn't about to play that game. I tilted my head. "So, you want to date other men?" She bit her lip, but nodded. "Yes, but it's not about replacing you. It's about—" I held up a hand, cutting off whatever nonsense she was about to say next. "All right," I said. Her eyes widened in surprise. "Are you okay?" "Yes." I shrugged, my heart racing as I took another sip of beer, the tension thick in the air. "If you wish to explore other connections, I understand. But I know I should do the same, if only to feel the thrill of what could be." Her face went pale, a rush of emotions swirling within her. What are you trying to say?" she whispered, her voice barely a breath. I whispered, my heart racing. "If you're out there exploring new connections, then I deserve the chance to do the same, don't I? In that moment, I can truly see how you stand apart from everyone else." Her heart raced. It was a fleeting glance, but I felt the shift in her heart the instant everything changed. She had envisioned me as the patient partner, the steady presence she could always lean on. She imagined me waiting at home, heart aching, as she ventured into the arms of others, sure that I would always be her escape when the world felt dull. But I had just broken that fragile dream. "Would you really put me side by side with someone else?" she asked, her voice trembling with a longing I hadn't felt in ages. Genuine vulnerability. I nodded, my heart racing with unspoken words. "It's complicated, isn't it? How can I be sure I'm truly getting the best of what this moment offers?" Her jaw tightened, yet she masked the turmoil with a fragile smile. "This isn't what you think," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "It shouldn't be a race, should it?" I pushed back. "So, you're telling me you have to wander, to find out if there's something more thrilling waiting for you? That suggests there's a delicate balance, a hidden way to feel the weight of what you cherish or sacrifice. If you're comparing me to other men, then it's only fair I look at other women too." Her eyes fluttered, a moment suspended in time. I can't bear the thought of you with anyone else." A smile broke through, bittersweet and fleeting. "Oh, why not?" "Because this isn't about that," she argued. She hesitated, trying to find the right words. "I just want to expand my experiences. But that doesn't mean I want our relationship to change." I let out a low chuckle. "You want to explore new relationships while expecting ours to remain unchanged?" She swallowed hard. It's not just about sex. Of course it is, I said bluntly. You wouldn't be asking for this if you didn't have someone in mind already. That one hit the mark. Her face paled for a split second before she composed herself. That's not true. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table. Who is he? She froze. What? I tilted my head. You're not asking for an open relationship because you might want to date other men. You're asking because you already have someone lined up. So who is he? She bit her lip again hard. A nervous tick. That's not fair. Life's not fair, I said, standing up. You just thought you'd get away with making the rules. Turns out you don't like them when they apply to you too. She shot up from her seat, a spark of frustration in her eyes. This isn't how I wanted this to go. I smirked. Yeah, I bet. She crossed her arms. So what? You're just going to throw away everything we have because I wanted to have an honest conversation? I let that hang in the air for a moment. Then I whispered, no, I can't let go of any of it. You are everything I shouldn't want. Yet here I am, drawn to you like a moth to a flame. Her breath caught in her throat. In that fleeting moment, I caught a glimpse of her panic, the dawning awareness that she was not as invincible as she believed. She could feel the weight of her heart, knowing this moment was slipping through her fingers, unraveling into something she never intended. Not even a whisper of what could have been. The silence between us hung heavy, electric and charged with unspoken longing. Her face was a mask, yet the way her fingers gripped the glass betrayed a storm of emotions beneath the surface. She felt a tightness in her chest, as if every secret she held was pulling her apart. She believed she held the power, ready to unveil her grand idea of an open relationship, convinced she could dictate the terms. But my innocent comparison, measuring her against others, had shifted everything in a way she never saw coming. The tempest within her gaze was undeniable, a silent battle as she grappled with the weight of what this could mean for us. I don't understand why you're saying this, she whispered, her voice trembling with a mix of confusion and longing. This isn't about filling a void. It's all about the thrill of exploring uncharted feelings. I leaned back, the bottle cradled in my hand, the last remnants of my drink swirling like the thoughts in my mind. Of course, I replied, my heart racing beneath the surface. I understand. Do you want to know a secret? Perhaps I've been too guarded all along. Perhaps I should explore what lies beyond this moment. It's a bittersweet reminder of what I cherish, yet can't fully embrace. Her lips parted, then fell silent. It just isn't the same. Why does it feel so different? Because she paused, her head shaking in silent protest. I can't bear the thought of losing what we share. I couldn't help but laugh at that, a bittersweet moment lingering in the air. A laugh that felt too real, making her heart skip a beat. Dangerous allure? It was your idea, not mine. You've already laid our secret on the line. If you're going to venture into the unknown, I deserve to chase my own desires too. Why should you be the only one to discover if something more awaits beyond this moment? Her face went pale, a rush of emotions swirling within her. I let the words linger, allowing her to absorb the weight of what had just passed between us. For the first time in ages, a flicker of doubt crossed her eyes. In that moment, everything changed for me. The initial flicker of fear. In the days that followed, a subtle shift stirred within her. She became unexpectedly tender, her kisses stretching into moments that felt like secrets, her touches charged with unspoken desire. She returned home early from work, a rare occurrence that sent a flutter of anticipation through her heart. She began to change her style, not in an obvious manner, but with a quiet elegance, more reserved than she had ever been. I tried to look away, but my heart betrayed me. That evening, as she caught me in the living room, lost in my phone, a fragile fissure appeared in her confidence, a moment that felt both intimate and painfully distant. Who has captured your attention tonight? She whispered. I arched an eyebrow, a mix of intrigue and longing swirling within me. Why does it matter to you? Her heart raced as doubt flickered in her eyes. I was just asking. Just a friend, I said, smirking slightly. Why? You worried I'm comparing? Her breath hitched. I could see it, the battle raging in her mind. She expected a different reaction from me, but my calmness seemed to catch her off guard. Later that night, she tried to initiate intimacy. It was out of nowhere, forced, like she was trying to reclaim something. I turned her down. The shock on her face was priceless. But you always want to, she murmured, sitting up in bed, confusion clouding her features. I just shrugged. Not in the mood. She didn't sleep well that night. The other man and the hidden truth. By now, I had little doubt that she already had someone in mind when she suggested opening the relationship. People often test the waters before making significant decisions like this. She had probably been lining something up for weeks, maybe months. I needed clarity on the situation before making any decisions. She was reckless, but she wasn't as careful as she thought, either. After some careful observation and asking the right questions, I pieced the puzzle together. A coworker. Single. A little older than me. Not a stranger, but someone I had met before at one of her company's events. A guy I had shaken hands with, made small talk with, while he was probably already thinking about sleeping with my wife. The anger was there, bubbling under the surface. But I forced it down. This wasn't about rage. This was about control. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I let her think I was still playing along with her little game. And then I made sure she got a taste of her own medicine. The moment of doubt. A week later, I casually mentioned that I had plans for the evening. Plans, she repeated, stirring her coffee a little too forcefully. Yeah, I said, just grabbing a drink. A friend of mine wants to introduce me to someone. The spoon clattered against the side of her mug. You're going on a date? I smiled. Wouldn't call it a date. Just seeing what's out there. She swallowed hard. I could almost see her mind spinning, calculating. She had never expected me to take her suggestions seriously, at least not in a way that benefited me. That night, I walked out the door without giving her a second glance. I needed space to reflect, and I let her assume what she wanted. When I got back, she was awake, waiting. How was your night? She asked, trying to sound casual. Good, I said simply. Her grip on the couch cushion tightened. Did you meet someone? I let a slow smirk creep onto my face. Why do you care? She opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time in this entire ordeal, she was on the receiving end of uncertainty. The power dynamic fully shifts. The days that followed were tense. She started texting me more, asking where I was, what I was doing. She cooked my favorite meals, wore the perfume she knew I liked, but I never gave her the validation she was craving. I decided to focus on myself rather than chasing validation. She had thought she could control the narrative. Instead, she was watching it slip through her fingers. And I wasn't going to stop it. Not yet. Something was different about her now. The confidence she once had seemed to waver, replaced by uncertainty. She tried to hide it behind forced smiles, behind awkward attempts at rekindling something that had already burned to ash. But I saw through it. Every touch, every lingering glance, every overly affectionate gesture. It was all fueled by the same thing. Fear. She seemed unsure about where things were heading. For weeks, she had been so sure that I would play along, that I would sit obediently in the background while she explored. But now I was the one exploring. Or at least she thought I was. And it was driving her insane. The first slip. It happened over dinner. She had gone all out, home-cooked meal, candles, even the expensive wine we had been saving for a special occasion. I played my role well, pretending to be oblivious to her sudden change in demeanor. So, she said, twirling her fork between her fingers, who is she? I looked up from my plate, feigning confusion. Who? She laughed, forced, unnatural. Come on. The woman you went out with the other night. The one you've been texting. I let a smirk play at my lips. Why does it matter? Her grip on her fork tightened. Because I think it's ridiculous that you're actually. She cut herself off, exhaling sharply. I just think we need to be careful with all this. All this? I echoed. You know what I mean. She shifted in her seat, looking everywhere but at me. We don't want to make decisions we'll regret later. I sat back, watching her squirm. You mean like opening the marriage? She flinched. I didn't mean it like that, she said quickly. Maybe we rushed into this. There it was. The first sign of backpedaling. She wanted out. But I wasn't going to let her take the easy way. Desmond panics. The next day, I got confirmation that her little side piece was feeling the heat. A block number called my phone 3 times before I finally answered. Hello? Silence. Then, a voice I recognized. Desmond. We need to talk, he said, his voice tight. I smirked. We do. A sharp breath on the other end. Listen, man. I don't want any trouble. I didn't know. Didn't know what? That you knew? He admitted. She told me it was complicated. That you guys were working through things. I never stopped talking. He fell silent. I don't care what she told you, I said evenly. What matters is what's happening now. And what's happening now is that she's realizing she made a mistake. Another breath. Are you going to tell her you know? I chuckled. What do you think? Silence. Then, in a strained voice, she's been different lately. Distant. Jumpy. I think she's second-guessing everything. Of course she was. Not my problem, I said. Look, I just want to be clear. I don't want this blowing back on me. That's what he was afraid of. That's why he called. He didn't care about her. He cared about himself. Coward. I guess we'll find out, I said, then hung up. She breaks. That night, she lost it. I was on the couch, scrolling through my phone, pretending to text someone, when she stormed into the room. Who is she? She demanded. I didn't look up. What? She grabbed my phone, yanking it from my hands. You heard me, she snapped. Who is she? Who have you been seeing? I leaned back, watching her as she scrolled through my messages. Of course, she wouldn't find anything. I was never actually texting anyone. But that wasn't the point. The point was that she was unraveling. You really don't like this feeling, do you? I mused. She looked up, a storm of emotions swirling in her gaze, caught between longing and despair. What are you saying? I rose, casting a shadow over her fragile form. The doubt lingers. The uncertainty. The haunting doubt that perhaps you're not as essential as you once believed. Her heart raced as she fought back the urge to speak. You were so sure I'd just watch as you played your games, but I couldn't stay silent any longer. But now that the tables have turned, now it's too much to bear. Her breath caught in her throat. I leaned in, heart racing. Tell me, did you ever truly desire something beyond the boundaries we set? Or was it just about wanting to break the rules, without facing the fallout? Her lips parted, a silent plea hanging in the air. I nodded, my heart racing with unspoken feelings. That's exactly how I felt. The last card. I watched her drown in her own fear for 2 long days before I took the leap that would change everything. As she stepped through the door, her heart raced at the sight of an envelope waiting on the kitchen counter, a silent promise of secrets yet to unfold. And here, each whispered word shared between her and Desmond. Every stolen moment, each fleeting connection, and a carefully pinned separation agreement. She stepped into the living room, the envelope trembling in her unsteady grip. You knew, she breathed, her voice trembling with unspoken longing. I lifted my glass to my lips, the cool liquid barely touching my tongue before I set it down, heart racing. I always knew. Her eyes brimmed with unshed tears. Since when did it become so complicated to feel this way? I let out a soft sigh. Just a moment. Her breath caught in her throat. So what now? I exhaled slowly. Yeah, you have a choice. You can sign that agreement and walk away with dignity. Or you can fight me on this and make things a lot worse for yourself. Her face crumpled. I don't want to lose you. I chuckled darkly. Funny, you didn't seem too worried about that when you were with him. A sob racked her body, but I didn't care. She had expected me to sit back and accept being second place. Instead, I made her realize she was never first. She stood there, clutching the envelope, her knuckles white as she scanned the damning evidence inside. Her face had gone pale, her body trembling, not just from shock, but from the weight of realization. She realized her choices had led to an unexpected outcome, and now she had to face the reality of the situation. Her lips trembled as she spoke. I can fix this. I almost laughed. Fix what? She swallowed hard, desperation bleeding into her voice. Us. Us. I echoed, raising an eyebrow. You mean the us that you were willing to throw away for Desmond? That us that you didn't seem to care about when you were planning your little adventure? Her breathing hitched. I wasn't trying to replace you. You just wanted me to sit in the background waiting for you to get bored, I said flatly. You wanted a safety net. You wanted to see if there was something better while keeping me on standby, just in case there wasn't. Her silence confirmed everything I already knew. She had expected me to beg, to plead, to try to win her back. Instead, I had let her fall on her own sword. The last attempt. She tried one last time. Her voice softened, a familiar warmth creeping back in. I was stupid. I see that now. I don't want anyone else, just you. I shook my head. No, you don't get to say that. Tears welled in her eyes. Why not? Because I said, my tone cold, you weren't saying it before you realized I could replace you. A sob ripped from her throat. I cut her off. You made your bed. Now you get to lie in it, alone. She broke then, tears streaming down her face as she fell into a chair. She never thought this would happen. She had believed she had all the power, that I would always be there, that no matter what she did, I would cling to the idea of us. She was wrong. And now, she was facing the consequences. The affair partner falls apart. As expected, she wasn't the only one panicking. Desmond was just as desperate. The next morning, I got another call. I swear, man, I didn't mean for this to happen, Desmond stammered the second I answered. I thought she was serious about opening the relationship. She said you were okay with it. I chuckled. So, you're saying you believed a married woman who wanted to cheat on her husband? A beat of silence. I didn't know she'd fall apart like this, he admitted, his voice strained. She showed up at my place last night crying. She said you were divorcing her and that it was my fault. I smirked. And I can't have this blow up in my face. His voice cracked. I have a reputation. I work with her. If this gets out, I cut him off. Then you should have thought about that before you slept with another man's wife. He exhaled shakily. Look, man, I don't want trouble. Can we make some kind of deal? Maybe you don't go through with the separation. Maybe we. I hung up. The final nail in her coffin. Later that day, I handed my wife the official separation agreement. She stared at it, eyes hollow, fingers trembling as she flipped through the pages. I don't want this, she whispered. I leaned back. It's not up to you anymore. She had wanted choices when she suggested opening the marriage. Now she had none. Her voice broke. I can't do this without you. I tilted my head. You thought you could though, didn't you? A sob tore through her. Please, let's work this out. I'll cut Desmond off. I'll prove to you that I still love you. I smiled. You already proved everything I needed to know. Her breath hitched. You thought you had the upper hand. I continued. That I'd be too weak to walk away. That I'd be waiting for you to decide whether I was good enough to keep. She squeezed her eyes shut. But guess what? I said. I already made the decision for you. She collapsed. She knew it was over. The power was gone. She had spent so much time evaluating me, thinking she could compare me to other men, never realizing I could do the same. And now, she was facing the truth she never expected. She didn't measure up. The aftermath. I moved forward with the separation. She tried to stall, tried to fix things. But it was too late. I wasn't playing her game anymore. She lost more than just me. Her affair partner cut her off, too scared of the consequences to stay involved. She lost the home, the stability, everything she had taken for granted. She wanted to explore her options. And now, she had no choice but to live with them. And me? I moved on. Not out of revenge, not out of spite, but because I knew my worth. And I knew one thing for certain. She was never worth comparing to anyone else. She was never even in the running.